Welcome to our very last Wordly Wise lesson. This is number 20, Vocabulary in Context. As always, I will read out loud if you want to follow along. When we come to a word that is bolded, that means it's one of our vocabulary words, and of course, we'll talk about it. See if we can find any clues of what it means in context. Here we go. The Pied Piper of Hamelin. Rats! They fought the dogs and killed the cats, and bit the babies in the cradles, and ate the cheese out of the vats, and licked the soup from the cook's own ladles. The people of Hamelin faced a serious predicament. The town was infested with rats. So from that sentence, we can't really tell what infested might mean, other than that we know the town was facing a problem because of the rats. So we might guess that infested means that there's a lot of rats. But let's keep reading and see if there's more clues about what infested might mean. These rodents were so aggressive that they had invaded the townspeople's cellars, kitchens, and bedrooms. Well, they just said in the sentence previously that the town was infested with rats, and then said these rodents. So the these tells us that they were talking about rats before, and that's what they're talking about now. So rodents are rats. Let's keep going. There wasn't a dwelling in town that wasn't teeming with rats. Teeming isn't one of our vocabulary words, but it probably should be. This isn't a common word that people talk about, but it's the same thing as infested, which is super interesting. Just a different way of saying the town is full of rats. Not just a few rats, not just here and there. That means there's a lot of them in great numbers. People threatened to run the mayor out of town unless he did something, so he promised to eliminate the rats. He vowed to exterminate every rat in town, and he blustered that not a rat would survive. There's two words in there, exterminate and blustered. So if he vowed to exterminate every rat in town, you kind of get a sense that, it continues on in the sentence that he blustered that not a rat would survive. So that tells you what the mayor is planning to do. He's planning to exterminate them, which must mean he's planning to kill them. If you've ever heard of an exterminator, that is their job. They kill rats or other pests. When the mayor blustered, we have to decide what that means. What did the mayor do? Well, he was saying that not a rat would survive, but blustered. We might have to come back to that and see if there's other clues. What could he do? Nothing except meet with his council to discuss solutions. The truth was that nobody had the faintest idea what to do. Well, there's not really anything here to tell us what blustered might mean. So now we have to look at the word itself. Is there anything in there that tells us any clues? Not really, unless you look at the root, which is bluster. But we know that the mayor is basically promising to eliminate all the rats by killing them, and that he's telling everyone this. So blustered must mean that he's very forceful. He's telling us in an angry sort of way. Okay, moving on. Suddenly, a man dressed in a peculiar fashion appeared at the meeting. We don't know anything yet what peculiar might mean. It's a common word, so you might already know, but let's keep reading and see if there's more clues. His quaint garments drew hostile stares and rude comments from townspeople. So we know his garments are quaint, and he drew hostile and rude comments from the townspeople. So peculiar must mean that it's not normal. It's kind of odd. These people don't like it. We also have another word here describing the garments as quaint. That's not a vocabulary word, but it's not a common word in the English language anymore. So if you don't know what quaint means, it means kind of antiquated. You can even hear that word in the word antiquated, quaint, antiquated. meaning it's kind of old-fashioned. It's charming, it's fine, it's just not, it's outdated. It's not something you'd see commonly. So it's describing his garments, which must mean what he's wearing, his clothes. So suddenly a man dressed in odd clothes came to the meeting. He's wearing these odd garments, and it drew hostile stares and rude comments from the townspeople. His queer long coat from heel to head was half of yellow and half of red. The stranger in the pied coat promised to rid the town of rats by luring them away with music from his pipe for a fee of 1,000 guilders. Fee is our vocabulary word in that case. Most of us know what a fee is. It means money. We are charged for a service that is going to happen. In this case, he's offering to get rid of the rats using music from his pipe. The mayor was jubilant, and he replied instantly that this was too paltry a sum for performing such an assignment. So our vocabulary word is paltry, but there's another word in there, jubilant, that is a little tricky. The mayor was jubilant, meaning he was happy for somebody to give him a solution. And he replied instantly that this was too paltry a sum. So paltry meaning, if he was so excited to hear about the Pied Piper being willing, paltry must mean he didn't ask for very much money. So paltry must mean small. He promised to compensate the piper no less than 50,000 guilders. Everyone followed as the Pied Piper stepped into the street. He raised his pipes to his lips and commenced playing. Over the sound of music, an unearthly noise was heard. Rats swarmed from the houses into the streets, following the Pied Piper as he led them out of town while playing his tune. So rats swarmed from the houses into the streets, following the Pied Piper. Swarmed must mean that they came together all at once out of the houses. So a swarm, if you've heard of maybe a swarm of bees, something like that, that means they come out all together. It's huge. So they followed the Pied Piper while he was playing his tune. At the river, westward, the rats plunged in, and they all perished. The people of Hamelin were grateful to the Pied Piper, and they rang every bell in town to celebrate the occasion. But the mayor had second thoughts about the promised payment. He realized he had been rash to offer 50,000 guilders. So rash meaning he thought too quickly. He was just so excited to get rid of them that he gave him more than even what he asked. He thought a mere 50 guilders would be enough. When the Pied Piper insisted on being paid in full, the mayor taunted him. So Pied Piper insisted, that must mean he demanded. He said, no, you made an agreement. You are going to have to keep up your end of the bargain. So when the Pied Piper insisted on being paid in full, the mayor taunted him. You threaten us, fellow? Do your worst. Blow your pipe there till you burst. As his revenge, the Pied Piper led away the village children, and they were never seen or heard from again. So, wow, revenge must mean he got even with him. He decided that if he wasn't fairly compensated, he was going to do worse things to the mayor and to all of the village. There you go, vocabulary and context.